everyone, welcome back to R2-BD in person.
Yes.
In person, look at us.
In
We're in person.
person.
You can't see it, but we're in person.
I mean, you can look at us.
You can't see it, but we're in person. We can touch each other's hands and whatever. It's great.
Hang on. High five.
Yeah, that was that. We can do it. We can do it. We're back in person. It's fantastic. Star Trek videos will still be remote for a little bit because we recorded those in advance.
Yeah, they're an advanced thing.
But although we can confirm, I guess, for those that keep up with Star Trek things, that Star Trek TNG Season 2 will officially be our back-in-person recordings when when those videos get to coming out. So it'll just be the rest of Season 1 that will be remote recording. But here we are. This is the new and I hope improved R2-BD. Not just the fact that we are in person, but we're trying out a bit of a new format now. Whereas before in R2-BD, the format I guess we had before was talking about three things: a visual thing, a comic, and a book, and all in one giant episode. I think we're going to try to break those things up now. So we haven't even we started our book.
Yeah, we've started the book, but that's about it.
Read that or in full or read our comic yet? We're just talking about our visual thing today, and we're going to hopefully do like individual smaller episodes for every single thing that we cover, which I think will be cool. It'll allow for more robust conversation about the individual things we're covering because they'll be more fresh in our minds. That said, today we're talking about Star Wars Skeleton Crew.
In an actually timely manner.
Right, yeah. Hopefully this comes out not long after it finished. I mean, as of recording this, it's been out about a week now?
That's about a week.
The finale has been about a week now.
Yeah, for about a week.
But yeah, we're here. We're talking about Skeleton Crew. I'm excited to talk about this. This is a very, I think, it's a very different kind of Star Wars show. Not just in that it's, it's not, for lack of a better term, fan-wanky than a lot of Star Wars things. Although it is, of course, very separated from a lot of other Star Wars shows that we've had recently. I think there's something that feels, in my opinion, especially fresh about this. Mm-hmm. Though, in many ways, I will say, it is not without its problems. I do feel like further seasons could help to greatly improve the show and just put it a bit higher in my estimation. But I did still really, really love this. This was fantastic. So I guess, I don't know, kind of jumping into it, where do we want to kick off with?
I mean, do you want to talk about like its story, its structure?
I don't know. I'll leave it up to you. Leave it up to you. What do you want to talk about?
I think we should probably maybe talk about the story, if not in all the detail, just the the blocks of it, because there are specific beats I do want to talk about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, structure wise, of course, it's the standard 8-episode live action Star Wars show that we've been getting for a while now,
which is fun, especially because they seem to have nailed that format down.
Yeah, I mean, with there's always room to improve, and I will always say that, I think TV shows in general nowadays need more than 8 episodes. But then also, we have things like The Penguin, and The Penguin is fantastic. That is a genuinely perfect 8-episode miniseries. So I don't know. Some shows do it better than others. But no, okay, so I guess structure-wise, I would say it's so interesting because it does kind of seem like all one giant 8-part story, except for the fact that I think it kind of gets split into 2 halves by the one middle episode, which is Can't Say I Remember No At.
Yes, I would say that is a definite like turning point.
Yeah, the episode on at Akron, which I found such an interesting little, I think, interlude in our larger story of Skeleton Crew. That I think that sort of like that flow from the first 3 episodes sort of continued from episode 5 onward. Also, actually, since I brought it up, episode titles. Fascinating episode title scheme, because I'm so used to, like, I guess, I don't know, more poignant, not poignant titles, simple titles, more to the point titles. These are literally just lines from each episode.
Which I really did like. It especially clicked with, I don't remember no Atten.
Yeah. Well, that's also, like, a line that, like, is like already sticking in the viewer's brain, and so when you name an episode after that, like it makes that moment stand out all the better, and it makes, I think, that reveal at the end of that episode all the better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, fantastic. Actually, totally unrelated to all this.
Oh, go on.
I found out a Skeleton Crew thing this morning, actually.
Oh.
Skeleton Crew fact, because I guess we're a week later, we're already getting into behind the scenes shit.
You know what? That isn't terribly surprising in this day and age.
Although apparently, okay, so we were apparently supposed to see more of Jod's backstory, apparently. This is really interesting. We're recording this on January 21st. and this is at least when I found out about this. I don't know if it came out on like today or last night or far earlier. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there was an actress that was in Skeleton Crew that whose scene was cut. She shot one scene for the show, and she shared photos of her in costume and that she shot the scene and all that. And she's very clearly dressed as a Jedi. She's dressed as like a classic prequel era Jedi. And one can, I think, easily put together that this was going to be a flashback to Jod as a Jedi. And I'm guessing her death at the hands of Order 66.
Yeah, another Order 66 survivor, which is not a bad thing, of course.
Here's the thing. My immediate thought when I saw that was like, okay, I'm kind of annoyed at every Jedi being an Order 66 survivor. It's starting to get to me. But I wonder if the reason it was cut is because of that. Because we had Mandalorian season 3, which shows Order 66 again. You have of course Baylan Skoll from Ahsoka.
That's true.
Sort of like talking about like turning his back on the Jedi and like a lot of his backstory being related to the fall of Anakin Skywalker and Order 66. So we've seen it a lot lately. We've added a lot of things to it. Specifically the archetype that a Jedi Padawan saw their master gunned down by clones and runs away. You know?
I mean, here's the thing. I will say, it's the most logical way to say, here's an actor who's not old looking, but they look older than like some of the other cast members, maybe.
Yeah.
And like, how did they sort of, their master sacrificed themselves so that their Padawan can get away? It is like the most Jedi way to handle that idea.
Yeah, I do wonder if that scene was cut though because of the sort of backlash from is everyone Order 66 survivor now? It doesn't change the fact that he is still an Order 66 survivor. But I guess to maybe not make it sting as much, they decided not to show it this time.
I mean, also, but logically speaking, any Jedi we see minus Luke Skywalker trainees on is an Order 66 survivor.
Yeah, exactly.
Because how else are they there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And here's the thing. In general, I don't think I have a massive problem with Order 66 having a lot of Jedi survive from it. I think we had talked about this on the show before.
We probably did.
That, like, I don't mind the fact that, realistically, these are magical psychic space wizards. Yeah, these are people that, like, other than, and I think it's very telling that the point of the attack is that the oldest members of the Order are the ones that die for the most part. Mm-hmm. You don't have like ancient Jedi Masters aside from Yoda still surviving post Order 66 because the idea is that their minds are clouded. The dark side, they're the ones that are most easily misled, despite the fact that they are the oldest and are supposed to be the wisest.
Yoda being the exception, A, because he's in the original trilogy, and B, he's theoretically still the wisest.
He still almost goes down.
Yoda still has to have a fight.
Yeah. So I don't know. I never minded it because in my mind, it's like, it's not a hard problem to solve. You guys can sense this shit, you know? Except for the ones whose minds have been clouded. Except for the ones that Palpatine has been around for decades and has been clouding their minds and has been hiding himself in plain sight.
Right, say the Jedi Council.
Yeah. So I don't mind that personally, but I understand the criticisms, and it is starting to get to me a little bit because I think every single Star Wars show has some kind of Order 66 survivor at this point.
But again, logically, how do you not have an Order 66 survivor that's a Jedi before Luke Skywalker trains people?
Yeah, definitely.
But also, it might have also been cut because we are trying to portray him as just a bad guy.
As just a straight up bad guy. This is also something that I kind of wish you would watch a Penguin. I would love to bring up that connection right now. But I love the shift in a lot of current things coming out to bad guys just being bad guys. Just people being fucking evil.
Like, don't get me wrong, I like my sympathetic...
I love sympathetic
sympathetic villain.
One of the most iconic characters in Star Wars is a sympathetic villain.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
But at the same time, you have... You just need some straight up bad guys.
Yeah, not everyone is Mr. Freeze. I think is what the point we should be driving at. You know, like there can be some Batman villains whose wife and family didn't die in a car crash. You know, you can have. I'm trying to think of a good Batman example.
I was like, a lot of them are tragic stories.
Yeah. You can have. Even Bane is...
Not Bane's still a tragic story in the end.
You can have the killer moths of the world. But no, like, these guys can exist. These guys can just be straight up bad guys. And I hate to say it, I think John is my favorite character of the show because of that.
He is easily the most amusingly, he's the most kind of one note, but at the same time, he's got some of the most depth to explore in that area.
Well, yeah. It is. I think my favorite thing about it is that when he does go full villain mode at the end of you have a lot to talk about Pirates.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say,
when he does go full villain mode, I did not feel betrayed as an audience member.
No.
Despite the fact that they had done multiple scenes in the previous episodes of him connecting with these kids, finding common ground with them, lifting them up in ways, and I did not feel betrayed by that moment because I don't think the show ever... through all those kind moments, I don't think the show ever lied to me about who he was.
No.
I never felt that. Because between all that, every single other scene was him being a piece of shit.
Yeah, every other scene was him, like, quite literally stealing change from children.
Yeah, he tried multiple times already in the show to steal the ship back from them, you know? He had control of it at one point. I don't know. I think that to me, that is the mark of a great, like... Still a great character that does not need a tragic backstory. Even though he does still have it. But again...
even though logically he still has to have that bad backstory.
That's also, I think, the point. That is also the key, I think, to that, is that your character can have a sympathetic backstory, but you do not need to show it. Because when you show it, I think that's what humanizes them.
It also could have theoretically been cut. Because... for the kids, it doesn't goddamn matter.
It doesn't matter. That is very true. That is very true. Because so much of this show...
It'd be like dropping Darth Plagueis randomly again.
That is not shade at the Acolyte, just so our listeners are aware.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we love the Acolyte, yeah.
That is not shade at the Acolyte.
His presence there is actually kind of interesting and relevant.
It actually is. No, we're referring to...
other things.
Okay, actually, we had that conversation, I think, on our across both of our last couple episodes.
I think we have.
Both in talking about the Acolyte, and also we had our whole Last Jedi Darth Plagueis rant, I think, last episode.
Yeah, it sounds right.
So, whatever. Anyway,
like that
I won't explain it all again, but I don't know. Anyway, go watch the last episode.
Yeah.
In the old format.
Yeah.
But... showing that backstory humanizes them, and I think a lot of this show is about strictly the perspective of these kids.
Mm-hmm.
The only times that I think we've really strayed far from that is when we're focusing on their parents, and when they become especially relevant to the story.
That's only like half, like last third-ish of it.
It is the cause of like what? 2 or 3 cold opens of the show.
Yeah. It's watching them become more desperate as the planet seemingly just doesn't care.
Yeah. I love that. Speaking of, actually, I want to talk about Aten as just a concept in Star Wars. Because I really, really love this idea of a planet that was
hidden by the old Republic.
So here's the thing. Here's another thing that has come out since the finale.
Ooh, yes, what?
Is that apparently... there was somebody, I forget exactly who, somebody on the higher end of the behind the scenes aspect of this show that was thinking of it specifically as a High Republic connection.
That's interesting.
That Aten had to be hidden away since the High Republic specifically, which I could personally see.
I could see that.
I could see as a last desperate venture of the Republic seeing itself sort of crumbling.
Could be happening during like the events of Phase 3. Yeah, I could see that being totally the case.
Yeah. And also just the idea that this is a planet specifically made to hide away their gold, to hide away their treasure, because that was what was valuable to them. And I found that fascinating.
Especially if you think about it in the context of the Blight. Not even the Nameless, but the Blight being just a thing that doesn't care.
Yeah, totally. I would love to know more about this. Here's the thing. I'm much more confident in this show getting a second season than I am the Acolyte. Because the Skeleton Crew has not had a targeted hate campaign marked against it. But also, I would love to see more with that. But also, I can also just see this, the idea of the history of this planet being expanded in other Star Wars things. Specifically, the High Republic era. I could see them talking about the creation of this planet, or the hiding away of this planet.
The hiding away of the planet, more accurately, yeah.
That there was just a time in history when the Republic said, we have to hide our gold. We have to hide our money. It has to go away. This cannot be valuable to anyone.
We will still go collect it periodically, but even at that point, some point, that secret gets lost.
Yes. And with the death of the Republic, aka Order 66, so comes the death of anyone coming to this planet that cares, anyone coming to this planet that still is looking after the Republic. And so you get the idea of, what was the name? I didn't write it in my notes. Damn it, Stephen Fry plays him. The robot
the
voice.
Overseer or something?
Yes, I'll look it up as we're talking about this. But also, Stephen Fry voices that droid, and I think that's fucking awesome.
It's like a big mainframe computer, which I called about 3 episodes before the finale.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people could have seen it coming, that it was just like...
There was no people governing this planet.
Yeah.
Which I thought, like, the the Fur's mom.
Oh yes, Farah.
Farah. I thought Farah would have been, like, upset even when finding that out. Because the implication was no one ever sees this person.
Yeah.
Like, the person controlling everything.
Stephen Fry was the supervisor.
Supervisor. So she's the under-supervisor.
Yes.
So it's like, I would have thought that even, like, the under-supervisor would have been in the dark.
Yeah.
No. When she goes up, she's like, this is the supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a droid. She's totally cool with that.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Yep, that is just the way it is. Fascinating idea. Absolutely fascinating idea.
But also, I do wonder, because of the way the last episode handles the twist of Thing claiming to both be a Jedi and the ambassador, he does not know that the supervisor is like has been getting communications from the Republic still.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great way to do the twist. We agreed on that.
Yeah, totally.
What's the line? The last communication we received from the Republic is that all Jedis are traitors.
Traitors, yeah. Because Jod tries to go in and present himself as a Jedi. He's like, oh, I'm a Jedi. I'm an authority figure here, you know? And they say, oh, well, cool. Well, so you're a traitor, just like all other Jedi are. Which also that's a great implication that they were still keeping track of this planet up until the fall of the Jedi.
Or is it that communications were being sent, but no one knew about it? Like, there was just some old relays that were being constantly active.
That's possible. Also makes me wonder.
Because
makes me wonder, did Palpatine know about At-Aden?
Honestly, because At-Aden is the kind of planet Palpatine would have totally used.
Yeah.
So the fact there was no...
This is a secret hidden away from him somehow.
The fact that At-Aden had no Palpatine presence, as far as we could see, that is, of course.
Well, yeah. Well, because I think if it did, they would no longer be following the Republic. It would be the Empire.
The Empire, exactly. Yeah. No way Palpatine would have let the people of At-Aden think they were still the Republic.
Yeah, because the people at At-Aden know nothing about the New Republic. They are just working for the Republic.
The Republic. They don't know that it became an empire, that it fell.
Oh, that was the big connection, though, by the way, to the High Republic, was that they were talking about the Great Work. And I'm pretty sure they're referring to the same Great Work from the High Republic.
Well, that's the
only
great work I'm familiar with.
Yeah. Which is crazy. Read some High Republic books, guys, please. They're so good. They're so good. I think we're going to cover some High Republic stuff next time, though. Or actually, no, at some point soon on R2-BD.
Yeah, sometime soon.
I gotta learn to talk about the language of this show differently with the new format. I'll make it work in my brain. It's fine. But yeah, no, that is fascinating. That I love.
Indeed.
Indeed. Let's talk about these kids. I love these kids. These kids are
great.
Fantastic.
My favorite was KB.
KB is lovely. I mean, I'm part of the Neo Nation myself. I love Neo.
Listen, man. I love Neo. Neo's good.
You can't not love Neo. Yeah, lovely.
Well, I love Neo. Neo was so good, especially when he makes the connection from that other planet. What did you say his name was?
Ad-Akron.
Ad-Akron. When, like, he remembers that Ad-Akron is just like Ad-Aten in terms of, like, even, like, its structure, like, its buildings.
Yes, it is the Mondas to Earth. It's a twin planet. It really is, yeah.
So it's like, but he remembers there's what he knows as the school, big turbo cannon. So he remembers in the finale, there's probably a big turbo cannon up there.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. So good. I do kind of wish the Ad-Akron plot had been extended a little bit. I would have liked to have seen it. I would have liked to have seen that be like its own little arc in the show. Although I could see a season 2 being more centered around Ad-Akron.
Well, especially because Ad-Aten is now widely known. It exists. The New Republic has a ton of credits now too. Also,
yeah. But no, KB and Neil, they're fantastic characters. KB, I thought I can imagine why you love KB.
I related to KB.
Is fantastic disabled rep.
Absolutely.
Which, first off, you just don't see much in Star Wars. You see it a lot in expanded media. Expanded media cares a lot about those kind of things, but not so much in televised or filmic Star Wars.
I related a lot to KB. I thought she was phenomenal representation.
Yeah,
especially because they did Star Wars-y.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's still the weird sort of sci-fi aspect of it. Like, oh yeah, sure, she's kind of a cyborg in a way.
Yeah, she had some kind of. We never quite got the full backstory unless I just missed it. But she had some kind of accident, and now she has like these cybernetics that are directly connected to her brain.
Yeah.
Which are cool, and I think that's neat.
Yeah.
But also really tragic.
Yeah, totally. And it is. I do also like that. Like, it is just part of her character. Like, it is not a. First off, it's not a weakness in her character, which I like as well. But also, it's not doing the whole disabled people are superheroes trope in media, which is somewhat problematic.
No, because she acknowledges there's an episode where the gang splits up. The party splits, as it were.
After John betrays them. Yeah.
Yep. Like, the party splits trying to go to the ship. Like, both different ways.
Yeah.
And she's with, God, what's his name?
Her name Fern? Wasn't she with Fern?
No. When they go follow the trash crowd.
Oh, she was Win?
Win, thank you.
Win.
She was with Win, and like she tells him like, listen, this is cold. This is really starting to affect my cybernetics. She is not weaker. She just has different issues.
Yeah. Fascinating. Oh, I love that. I just love seeing that. Also, especially in a child character in Star Wars too. Someone that, I think it's easy to kind of look at the initial group of the four kids in Skeleton Crew and be like, oh, there's like, they're all normal humans, and there's Neo, there's the Elephant Man. But it's like, no, that's not true. There's KB, who is a disabled character. There's Wim, who's a person of color. And so is KB, actually, for that matter. And so I don't know, I kind of like that. There's someone, I think, for like, especially kids watching Star Wars, kids watching this show, to kind of look up to. I appreciate that. I also just, actually, on kids watching Skeleton Crew, I love that Skeleton Crew is so disconnected from Star Wars as a whole that I think it could be someone's first Star Wars. I think so. Some kid could just happen to watch this and just fall in love with this.
I mean, it's also a show for kids who love Star Wars. I mean, you remember after the first episode dropped, we talked about it. I said I never related more to the first 15 minutes of anything Star Wars.
Yes, because there's that whole bit where Wim is playing with his little Kenner dolls, and Wim and Neil have their little fake lightsaber battle, and it's adorable, and that's how we played Star Wars when we were little. Exactly. We're brothers, by the way.
We have made that clear before, but I guess this is always someone's
people don't listen to every
episode.
episode. It's fine. But no, like, that's literally how we used to play Star Wars. Like, we had the lightsabers, we had the toys. It was great.
Remember we got excited when we had the lightsabers that made noises.
Yes, that was new. That was new to us. That was new to the Star Wars landscape. I don't know. Oh.
But yeah, if you're a new kid, if you're a kid, this could totally be your first Star Wars, I think.
Yeah.
Because it is disconnected from the larger Star Wars story, both because Adden is literally disconnected.
Yeah.
And if you're a kid who loves Star Wars, you will see a lot of yourself in these kids.
Yeah, totally. Although, that is to say, it's not completely disconnected from Star Wars, as there are a fair few references to other things throughout this. Things that, to be fair, no kid will get. No kid in their right mind is like, oh my god, that's the thing from the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the little fucking hologram dancers from the Star Wars Holiday Special show up at one point, and Neil and, or not Neil, I guess Neil's siblings.
Yeah, Neil's siblings. That tells you how old that recording is, though.
Yes.
Because it had to make it to end by at least the High Republic.
We are, like, one throwaway line away from canonizing the Holiday Special again. It's gonna happen.
I mean, Life Day is a thing.
Life Day is canon and has been mentioned in The Mandalorian. We have this here. All we need to do is just have Luke, I don't know, weird, creepy, deep fake Luke Skywalker be like, yes, I remember when I went to Kashyyyk with Han on Life Day, and mouth moves up and down out of sync. Oh god. No. Okay. Anyway, there's also a little creepy Ewok thing from he's not an Ewok, he's a different species from Battle for Endor though. Or no. Was he from Battle for Endor? He's from Battle for Endor. You haven't seen Battle for Endor.
I have not seen that one.
You should watch Battle for Endor. It's weird. And I would say better than Caravan of Courage.
I'll take your word on that.
It is.
We'll have to make one to watch it. Not the point.
We should watch it for R2-BD! Haha!
It's not the worst idea in the world.
Yeah. Anyway. Let's see what else. We have not talked about SM33 yet.
33.
Oh my god, I love him. Played by Nick Frost. It was wonderful.
I so loved 33. There was towards the end, before Thing takes command of the ship. After tries to take it from Fur, because Fur's now taken command of the
Onyx Cinder.
The Onyx Cinder.
Great name for a ship, by the way.
When Fur is like, alright, I'm captain of the ship, kick his ass, and 33's like, yep, on it. I was like, yeah, kick his ass, 33.
Yes, he's wonderful.
Decapitation, of course.
Yeah, the biggest shame. But his head lives on.
And then his body, because he's going to be fixed. I love, by the way, that at the end of the show, 33 is the only droid active on at
Yes.
And he is still going to be loyal to, like, Fur, and that's about it.
Fern, yeah. I think I love my comedic relief droids. I will never get tired of comedic relief droids. I know that's probably something wrong with me internally. I just love comedic relief droids. I don't care how forced they are. I don't care how they all are essentially the same character. I love comedic relief droids. K2SO is one of my favorite droids in all of Star Wars.
So good.
I have really, really grown on what's her name? We just talked about her last episode. L337.
Yes.
Who's lovely, of course. Isn't it nice that I have notes?
It is so nice you have notes. We don't have to guess at anything, generally.
Right? It's great. Yeah, we try. But no, he's lovely. He's really lovely. I love just a pirate droid.
A pirate droid with the personality of always wanting to kill someone is great.
Yes. I love his... It reminds me a lot of... also comedic relief droids. 000 from Dr. Aphra.
I love 000.
Yeah, lovely stuff. He's great. You know what, actually, though? I also just love Skeleton Crew, not so much as like the weird sort of Goonies, E.T., kids on bikes kind of show that it was. I did love that, but I loved it even more as a pirate show. There were just some great little moments that, like, I have never thought of Star Wars pirates as, like, actual pirates more than I have in this show. Because Hondo Ohnaka is a king, obviously.
Right.
But, like, I don't think, like...
But he's running an organization.
Yeah, I don't think of, like, seafaring pirates when I see Hondo Ohnaka. When I see Jod, there's that great moment towards the end of the show. I want to say it's in the penultimate, where Jod, like, regains the trust of the crew again, and he sings that... It's a sea shanty to them about the Onyx Cinder. I'm like, yeah, that's so fucking great. There's that sort of, like, weird sort of, world building involved in showing that, like, oh, this is a well-known, like, legend among pirates. This is what they sing about, and this is how he regains their trust. And there's that weird sort of tribalism in how they sort of gather around him then in that moment. I love that. Absolutely love that moment. Right down to the opening scene of the entire show when he leads them astray. That was totally him at the beginning. Right? They never confirmed that, but that's totally him.
Especially after I thought about, like, seeing the helmet on him in, like, the last episode.
Yeah,
it's gotta be him.
Yeah. When he gets captured there, and when what's his name? Gunter takes over, played by Jaleel White. Fucking Urkel is in this show. How can you not love it?
He's great.
Absolutely lovely. Very fun. You know who else I loved as a character? It was a small thing, but I loved it as an appearance in this show. I think I have the name written down, but I haven't heard it said out loud in a while since I first watched the episode she appeared in. But I have it written down as Kim, I believe. KH''YMM. The owl lady.
Oh.
The owl cat lady person thing. She was just another really fascinating inclusion in the show. And just about the only, aside from the obvious, X-Wings and B-Wings that show towards
the B-Wings.
The B-Wings are back, baby. But no, aside from that, like, she is just about, like, one of our only larger connections to the Star Wars universe here. In that, like, she is fully aware of what these kids are going through, being so secluded from the rest of the galaxy.
And she treated them all so kind nicely. But I loved when she saw the backpack and the symbol that Fern's wearing because her mom's making her wear it.
Yeah.
It's a school logo, my favorite thing.
Yes.
Like, it's literally just like a nothing thing. It's like something you'd sew onto a sweater.
Mm-hmm.
She sees that and she's like, holy shit, that is almost pre-Republic iconography.
Yeah. Very, very cool. Again, just I would. You see projects like this, and you see projects like The Acolyte, and you really hope that these things have a lot of relevance on the larger Star Wars universe, but there's the chance that they don't, and these things get canceled. But I would love to see something like that, like mean a lot to the larger universe, because I'm one of those people, and I know I've said this a million times on R2-BD, but I'm one of those people that believes that Star Wars is one giant story. It is a living mythology, and everything counts in its own little way, and everything sort of adds to just this one larger story. So I can really like any Star Wars project, because to me it's like, oh, I'm just continually expanding on the story that I already know.
I'm not sure off the top of my head I've seen anything I've so disliked that I'm just like, no, that's not Star Wars.
We do have yet to pick up Resistance again.
That is, but here's the thing: we watched it, we said it was fine, but not for us.
It was fine, and we'll probably pick it up again, and we'll probably cover it on this show. I'd probably just shotgun the rest of season 1.
I'd say I'd probably just do the rest of the season 1.
Yeah, especially with this new format of R2-BD that I'm sure all of the audience is enjoying right now. But no, I love that. I love the world building in the show is fantastic.
I think if anything, this show has the best odds, if not being picked up for season 2, of like having an impact in like other media. Because think about the kind of cash influx this has on the New Republic, if nothing else.
Yeah, true. And also, character-wise, I would love to see some of these characters continue to live on through sequel-era things somehow. I mean, hell, we have... Okay, so this is... Let's see. This is what, 5 years? We're still in like the roughly 5 years post-Return to the Jedi mark here,
Give
right?
or take.
Roughly, maybe like another year or two, 6 or 7 years. That still leaves about 20 years before Force Awakens happens. Like... These are full-grown adults by the time the sequel trilogy happens. Who's to say some of these kids don't join the new Jedi Order in our Rey film coming up? I would love to see that.
That would definitely
be
cool. Interesting.
Especially with the character... I mean, maybe not full-on Jedi, but part of the Republic. I'd love to see a character like Wim, who is so clearly inspired by the Republic and its heroism. I love that the last episode was called The Real Good Guys.
The Real Good Guys.
Because, oh god, it was one of those moments, because we watched the finale together, that I can't believe I watched it and I couldn't believe it took me so long to get the point of the whole damn show. But it was that moment when Wim sees the X-Wings and the New Republic up in the sky saving the day, that inspires him. And it is the fact that the credits sequence of the final episode is showing at first Wim's little Jedi storybook that he has in the first couple episodes. And then that transitions into the story being told throughout the show, but showing it through the same art style of that storybook. And to me, what I can't believe I didn't get until the very end there, was that like obviously it's Wim's story, that he's the main character, clearly, but I think Wim's adventure carries a lot of themes of like idealism and heroism and what that means to people. Like what is actual heroism? What do our heroes mean to us? Which is why Jod is such an important character in Wim's life, because Jod sees Force user, he sees Jedi. That is the kind of people that he's looked up to his entire life.
Yeah.
And when that spirit is broken, when Jod betrays them, that is why I think I have his name right now. Ravi Cabo Conyers, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, who plays Wim. Fantastic performance from him, just when he is betrayed by John, and you just see that pain, because this is a guy that has meant the world to him, and he has ascribed such heroism to on the very fact that he believes that he is a Jedi, and he believes he is the pinnacle of idealism and heroism. Gorgeous idea, and what Wim sees as real heroism by the end is the New Republic. And what is the New Republic if not a bunch of people that got together and said, who are the bad guys here? The Empire. Well, we will be the good guys, and we will take over. Sure, there's some weird implications then about becoming the government then, but if we throw that away for a second.
If we kind of ignore that little slice, because as far as Wim's concerned, not a thing. Yeah. Not important.
Yeah. It's kind of the reason why I really love The Last Jedi, and what The Last Jedi deals with a lot, and that is Rey's idealism and her and the galaxy's view of Luke Skywalker, and what Rian Johnson has to say about Luke as a character, and why it's very stupid to hate The Last Jedi, you stupid people. I know you weren't actually laughing at my joke. I know you were just choking. But don't choke.
I'm not choking. I got water. We're good.
Have you considered not choking?
No, I haven't, but now I will.
Oh, man. Anything else?
I feel like we covered the bulk of
I think we did.
of what we would want to even talk about through the show. There's some mysteries that are still unclear about when exactly did that, and get hidden. Obviously,
Yeah.
High Republic or earlier, kind of obviously.
Could be earlier. I do also think, speaking of canonizing things, I do also think we're like 2 throwaway lines away from canonizing the Old Republic, Old Republic video games, because I know those are really beloved. And,
They are, and
still sold to this day, like still continually being produced by I guess I don't know who makes them now.
I don't know.
I mean, the old LucasArts that made them does not exist anymore.
Right, some other company that would be in charge of remastering them and the like. I would assume
they're remastering that one weird ass Phantom Menace tie-in game called Jedi something, Jedi Battles.
Jedi Battle sounds right, but I don't know.
Did you hear about this?
I haven't actually.
It's fully remastered. It's crazy. It looks great. And I think it's on PS5 or whatever. So,
nice.
Yeah.
But again, to the point, a season 2 could go a long way to helping answer some questions.
Mm-hmm.
But do all these questions need answering? No, not really.
Not really.
But I'd love to see these characters back. I love them.
Yes, would love to see these characters back. I'd love to see Jod back somehow, mostly just because I love Jude Law's performance throughout this whole show.
Also, because he does end the show just kind of standing around. He's not captured.
Yes. I thought for sure he was going to die by the end. But no, I mean, I'll take the creepy Jude Law still being around. How great. You know what? My favorite moment of the whole show, my favorite bit of acting from the whole show, it's not my favorite moment, but my favorite bit of acting from the whole show is that moment when Jod is in front of the Old Republic credits and he's like practically like licking them and he's
as
like
they
up
like
against
fall
them.
into his hands and stuff.
Oh God, just totally sells the sliminess of that character in that moment. Just amazing. Yeah, that was great.
I would love a season 2, mostly because I want to see these characters. I'd love to see what they would do post Ad-Adin, if you will.
Yeah. That would be interesting. I feel like a season 2 would have more to do with Ad-Akron.
Ad-Akron, yeah, probably.
Maybe that's more just me imposing my own, like, what I would like to see in season 2.
But also, it's one of those things where it's like, Ad-Akron would probably come into the center at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it would be like, here's Ad-Adin. Are there other planets?
Yeah, totally.
And we know these characters know where it is. The ship has the logs.
Yeah, totally. One last thing. You know who plays the main lady on Lanupa, the spa planet thing?
The person who met them?
Yeah, her. Julianne Emery, who you would know as Mrs. Kettleman from Better Call Saul.
Oh.
Yes. She was also on Preacher, the Hair Stars, I can't think of her name now. Hair Stars right-hand woman.
Okay.
Yeah. Fantastic actress. I really love her. Totally beside the point. That's my actual last note on Skeleton Crew. But that's it. Thanks for watching this, friends. Thanks for watching our discussion on Skeleton Crew. Thanks for joining us for our new format of Skeleton Crew, new format of R2-BD, which I'm sure you all enjoyed a lot. And now that we're in person, I'm sure it's even more enjoyable.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. What do we have coming up on R2-BD? What do we have coming up? We have, we're gonna, our next couple episodes, we're gonna sort of release the episodes as if they're more like blocks in the style of the old episodes. But we may go out of order every now and then, especially with things like Andor Season 2 coming up. So, we'll see.
We were gonna try to keep things normal, but split up.
But book-wise, hopefully our next episode is going to be on Star Wars The Last Command by Timothy Zahn, which I'm very excited about.
And it has so far been good.
It's been so good. We have started reading it. I might reread, of course, but it's great. We're also going to cover, what's it called? Shattered Empire, the comic miniseries by Greg Rucka, which I'm very excited about as well. It's post-Return of the Jedi. It was one of those things that was labeled as like the journey to the Force Awakens back when it was coming out. So I kind of like that sort of era of Star Wars things.
Yeah. It's one of those eras that I feel like could be interesting, especially as it would have been new? Question mark?
Yeah, new-ish. And also, Andor Season 2 is coming up in April. We're going to try to do an episode on Andor Season 1 before that comes out, and then we'll do an episode on Andor Season 2 when that is finished coming out. So that may sort of screw their schedule a little bit. That'll still count for, like, 2 sort of visual media episodes. So
yeah, the schedule, if anything, will just be rearranged slightly.
yeah, it'll be essentially just more books and comics to cover, which is mostly what we want to cover on this show anyway.
That was the main reason we did this.
Yeah, because we want to talk about more expanded universe things, and there's a lot of it. So, you know what we do also have to do, because we talked about video games towards the end of this. We have to do the Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order.
Oh, yes.
We gotta do those at some point. And I think, yeah, something else, I'm sure.
Something.
Oh yeah, Battle for Andor. You gotta watch Battle for Andor.
Oh, yes, I do.
You gotta do that. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, friends. As always, our link trees and everything will be in the... my link tree will be in the description below. Jacob's Blue Sky will be in the description as well.
Indeed.
And I think that about does it. So thanks so much. Until next time, this has been Joey Morgan.
I'm Jacob.
Goodbye.